The July internationals gave New Zealand supporters plenty of reasons to feel optimistic, but everyone inside the All Blacks camp understands that the real examination has not yet begun. 3 consecutive victories under the guidance of new head coach Dave Rennie have helped restore confidence and belief after a challenging period, yet those wins represent only the first chapter of a much larger story. The coming tour of South Africa is widely viewed as the defining challenge of the season, a journey that could reveal exactly where this new-look All Black side stands among the world's elite teams. Success in July has created momentum, but momentum alone means very little when facing the reigning world champions on their own soil. The 8-week campaign ahead promises to answer questions that no previous opponent has been able to ask, and for many observers it represents the true beginning of New Zealand's road toward the next Rugby World Cup. The timing of this historic tour has added another layer of excitement. Rugby supporters across the globe have embraced the revival of a traditional touring schedule, with the campaign marketed as the greatest rivalry. Rather than simply playing a handful of isolated test matches, the All Blacks will immerse themselves in South African rugby culture, facing provincial powerhouses before taking on the mighty Springboks across 4 intense test encounters. It is a format that recalls rugby's rich history, when international tours stretched over several weeks and demanded physical endurance, mental resilience, and tactical flexibility unlike anything seen in today's crowded calendar. For players, coaches, and supporters alike, the tour represents something unique, an opportunity to witness rugby's oldest rivalry in its purest form. While nostalgia has played a role in promoting the series, there is far more at stake than memories of past battles. Every training session, every provincial match, and every test will provide valuable evidence about how prepared the All Blacks truly are for the challenges awaiting them next year. Winning against France, Italy, and Ireland during July demonstrated encouraging progress, but many analysts have been careful not to overstate those achievements. Each opponent presented different challenges, yet none replicated the relentless pressure, physical intensity, and tactical sophistication that South Africa consistently delivers. The victories were important building blocks, but they did not answer the biggest questions surrounding this evolving New Zealand team. Against France, the All Blacks faced a talented side missing several established stars because of club commitments and squad management. The French remained competitive, displaying the skill and resilience that has become synonymous with their recent rise, but they were not operating at full strength. Italy showed admirable determination and never lacked courage, yet they simply did not possess the depth or firepower required to threaten New Zealand consistently over 80 minutes. The final July opponent, Ireland, arrived after a long and demanding season appearing physically drained and emotionally flat. Although ranked among the world's strongest teams, Ireland struggled to reproduce the sharpness and relentless intensity that had characterized many of their previous performances. That context does not diminish what the All Blacks accomplished. Improvement was visible in several important areas, and supporters finally began to see signs of a clearer identity emerging under Dave Rennie. The attack looked more structured, decision-making improved, and the players appeared increasingly comfortable within a system designed to maximize both power and creativity. Yet the coaching staff has never hidden from the reality that South Africa represents an entirely different challenge. As Dave Rennie himself acknowledged, facing the Springboks is unlike facing any other international side. Their ability to dominate physically while simultaneously adapting tactically has made them the benchmark of world rugby, and every opponent understands that beating them on South African soil requires near-perfect execution. Recent history fully supports that assessment. Since lifting the Rugby World Cup in 2023, the Springboks have established an extraordinary level of consistency, losing only a handful of test matches while compiling an impressive unbeaten streak. Their confidence has been built not only on results but also on the remarkable depth available to head coach Rassie Erasmus and his coaching team. Few international sides can rotate extensively without sacrificing quality, yet South Africa appears capable of selecting almost any combination from a remarkably deep player pool and still producing dominant performances. This depth has become one of their greatest strengths, allowing them to manage player workloads while maintaining an exceptionally high standard across every position. For New Zealand, memories of last year's encounters with South Africa remain impossible to ignore. The All Blacks celebrated an impressive victory at Eden Park, reminding everyone that they were still capable of defeating the world champions. However, Any confidence generated by that success disappeared only 1 week later when the Springboks produced one of the most commanding performances in the history of the rivalry. South Africa's emphatic victory exposed weaknesses throughout the All Blacks game and suggested that the gap between the two sides had become larger than many supporters had realized. That defeat became a defining moment, forcing New Zealand rugby to confront uncomfortable questions about coaching, leadership, tactical identity, and long-term planning. The response was significant. A new coaching era began with the appointment of Dave Rennie, who immediately emphasized clarity, accountability, and adaptability. Rather than attempting to reinvent everything overnight, the coaching group focused on strengthening the team's foundations while introducing a more structured attacking philosophy. Leadership responsibilities were shared more broadly, encouraging experienced players to take greater ownership while allowing younger talents to develop naturally within the environment. The objective was not simply to improve performances over a few matches but to create a sustainable system capable of competing with the world's very best over the coming years. Evidence of that transformation became increasingly visible throughout the July campaign. The All Blacks developed a far more varied attacking game, reducing their reliance on predictable patterns and creating multiple points of pressure across the field. Powerful forwards such as Patrick Tuipulotu and Asifo Ormua became central figures in generating momentum close to the breakdown, repeatedly carrying with aggression and forcing defenders to commit additional resources. Their ability to attack around the fringes opened valuable space elsewhere, creating opportunities for New Zealand's gifted playmakers to exploit. One of the standout features of the new attacking approach has been the influence of Jordie Barrett. Renowned for his composure, vision, and exceptional distribution, Jordie Barrett has become a key decision-maker capable of directing play according to what unfolds in front of him rather than relying solely on predetermined structures. His ability to identify defensive weaknesses and release runners into space has added an extra dimension to the All Blacks' attack, making them considerably less predictable than they were in previous seasons. Instead of relying exclusively on individual brilliance, New Zealand now appears increasingly comfortable building pressure patiently before striking with precision. Another noticeable improvement has been the relationship between the kicking game and the running attack. Rather than kicking merely to relieve pressure, the All Blacks have begun using tactical kicks as an attacking weapon designed to force opponents into uncomfortable positions. By pressuring opposition backfields and encouraging inaccurate return kicks, New Zealand has generated valuable counterattacking opportunities from broken play. This balance between territorial control and attacking ambition reflects the influence of modern rugby thinking while remaining true to the traditional strengths that have long defined the All Blacks. Perhaps the clearest example of this evolution came during the victory over Ireland, where the pace and intensity displayed by New Zealand reached remarkable levels. Ball movement was quicker, support lines were sharper, and players consistently made intelligent decisions under pressure. The physical contest around the breakdown was fiercely competitive, yet the All Blacks matched Ireland's aggression while maintaining enough composure to capitalize on scoring opportunities. The result was a convincing performance that reminded supporters why New Zealand remains one of rugby's most respected nations. Even so, inside the squad there is a clear understanding that impressive victories in July guarantee nothing once the team lands in South Africa. The Springboks possess a unique ability to expose weaknesses that other opponents fail to identify. Their combination of relentless physicality, tactical intelligence, and exceptional squad depth allows them to apply pressure across every area of the game. Whether through their powerful scrum, disciplined kicking strategy, dominant lineout, aggressive defense, or increasingly dangerous attacking patterns, South Africa forces opponents to perform at their absolute best for the full 80 minutes. Any lapse in concentration or decline in physical intensity is usually punished immediately. For Dave Rennie, that reality is not a source of fear but rather motivation. He has repeatedly emphasized that this tour offers an invaluable opportunity for growth regardless of the final results. Spending several weeks together away from home will allow the coaching staff to deepen relationships within the squad, strengthen the team's culture, and evaluate how players respond under sustained pressure. Long tours create unique environments where leadership, resilience, adaptability, and teamwork become just as important as technical skill. Every challenge encountered along the way will provide lessons that cannot be replicated during shorter international windows. As anticipation continues to build, excitement is matched by uncertainty. The All Blacks have unquestionably improved since the beginning of the year, and supporters have every reason to believe the team is moving in the right direction. Yet rugby at the highest level is measured not by comfortable victories over capable opponents but by performances against the very best teams in the sport. South Africa currently occupies that position, and the coming series will reveal whether New Zealand's recent progress represents the beginning of a genuine resurgence or simply another step in a rebuilding process that still requires significant work before the biggest prizes in world rugby can once again be realistically within reach.